Former German Chancellor Gerhard Schroeder held a surprise one-on-one meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday, as announced by the Kremlin, in what is a perceived blow to Europe. The Kremlin described the discussion between the pair as friendly, adding that the meeting took place in Moscow. It's not clear what Putin and Schroeder discussed, but the war in Ukraine was likely to top their agenda. Schroeder served as German Chancellor from 1998 to 2005, when his Social Democratic Party was voted out by incoming Angela Merkel. He has subsequently worked for Russian state companies, where he has cultivated a close relationship with Putin, one he often describes as a friendship. Putin has even named the former German leader as the only suitable European mediator to engage in talks aimed at ending the war in Ukraine, a proposition the EU firmly rejected. The meeting comes just days after Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky requested in an open letter a meeting with Putin to explore ways to end the invasion of his country. Putin snubbed the letter, calling it rude, and stressed that there was no reason to meet, a move Kyiv described as evidence of Russia's unwillingness to end the war. Meanwhile, Russian attacks are continuing to pummel Ukrainian cities, while Kyiv also continues to carry out its own counteroffensives targeting Russian energy sites and ports.
Polling stations have opened in Kosovo for a snap parliamentary election, the country's third in just over a year. The vote comes amid mounting frustration over a prolonged political deadlock after lawmakers failed to agree on a new president earlier this year. The crisis dates back to February 2025, when an inconclusive election triggered more than a year of political stalemate, repeated failed votes, and successive snap polls. Prime Minister Albin Kurti's Vetevendoshye party won previous elections but has struggled to secure enough support to stabilize governing institutions. Experts warn the latest ballot is unlikely to break the impasse, with deep divisions between parties still unresolved. Many voters say they feel disillusioned, expecting little change despite returning to the polls once again. The ongoing crisis is also weighing on daily life, with rising living costs hitting one of Europe's poorest economies. And the instability is being closely watched in Brussels, where Kosovo's repeated political deadlocks are seen as another setback for its EU accession ambitions and broader Western Balkan stability. Kosovo remains a potential candidate for EU membership, but internal paralysis risks slowing already stalled enlargement momentum in the region.
Pope Leo XIV called on Spain to, quote, stop fanning the flames of polarization in an address in Madrid as he began his week-long and first papal visit to the country in 15 years. In his first address, Leo thanked Spain for its commitment to peace and adherence to international law, after the Iberian nation became one of Europe's loudest voices disapproving of the US-Israeli war in Iran and previously calling out Israeli aggression in Gaza. The US-born Pope was received at the Royal Palace in Madrid by King Philippe VI and Queen Letizia. He later visited Catholic charities and led a prayer vigil near Real Madrid's Santiago Bernabeu Stadium, filled with hundreds of thousands of mostly young people. On Sunday, the pontiff is set to lead a major mass in the capital's center and then deliver an unprecedented address to Parliament before traveling elsewhere around Spain. Leo is expected to make a pit stop in Barcelona, where he'll bless the new tower of the Sagrada Familia Basilica. He will then travel to the Canary Islands on Thursday for a 2-day visit, where he'll be joined by Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez to honor the thousands of migrants who have died making their way over to Europe.
U.S. Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth said NATO allies need to cast off the NATO of the post-Cold War and focus on its core war-fighting mission, while meeting with French Armed Forces Minister Catherine Vautrin. Hegseth arrived in France to commemorate the 82nd anniversary of D-Day, where he again stressed that the U.S. needs strong allies who increase their defense spending and are ready to invest more in combat-credible forces.
We face a strategic environment that we must be prepared for the possibility of simultaneous challenges in multiple theaters, and given those realities, Europe must take the lead of its own conventional defense. We believe that is a strategic necessity. France can help build a NATO that is more balanced, more resilient, and more credible.
Hegseth also outlined the U.S. vision of a new alliance, which he described as NATO 3.0, adding that the transition is already underway.